I'm going to share with you guys what I have observed that is working in today's market. Not just working, but what is allowing us to have 139 pending transactions right now as this podcast is being recorded. Welcome back to another episode of All or Nothing in Real Estate. I'm your host, Matt Smith, the founder of All or Nothing in Real Estate. This podcast is a movement to give back to this amazing industry that's given so much to me and my family. Today, guys, I'm going to get straight into the content. I've got a lot on my mind. I'm in the trenches. I'm in a season right now, really diving into our business to build the best year ever, like so many of you. I think what makes this podcast different is this isn't theory. This is proven. And I'm in a season right now with you guys. I'm currently helping manage our sales staff. I'm currently the COO of our organization. I'm currently in a challenge with my agents to set over 200 listing appointments this month, 30 of those which I committed to. And so I'm in that season with you guys right now. And so it's inspired me. I'm going to share with you guys what I have observed that is working in today's market. Not just working, but what is allowing us to have 139 pending transactions right now as this podcast is being recorded. So, as the coach of a lot of the top teams throughout North America, as the operator and team leader of the #1 team in mid-Missouri, ranked as high as number 8 in the nation, we are on pace to close over 800 transactions this year. I share all that with you to let you know that, again, this is proven. This is not theory. This is reality, and this is what I see. And I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes look of what I'm seeing right now that is working. So let's dive in. Number one, I'm seeing standards. Well, Matt, that sounds really simple. Of course, you have to have standards. But I think too many people throw the word standards around and they don't really go deep enough with themselves, with their team, with their company, with themselves on what the standards actually are, what they mean, and why they're important. So if I were to ask you, what are your standards? If you were to look in the mirror and be honest with yourself when it comes to the real estate business, what are your standards? See, standards are non-negotiable. Standards aren't just something that you do when it feels good. I think what really defines us, especially in this business with all of these changes that we're going through right now, is what is the work that we're willing to do? Where are we drawing the line in the sand and saying, I'm going to control what I can control. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to do everything in my power to win. What are we going to draw that line? Where are we going to draw that line in the sand? And what is that daily minimum standard of activity that you're going to hold yourself accountable to? Sounds really simple, but are you doing it? And are you doing it not just today, but are you going to do it again tomorrow? And then again the next day, and then again the next day. And if you're a team leader listening, so that's for an agent, right? Team leaders, like, you need to have that for yourself as well. But if you're an agent, you have to have that commitment to yourself, that commitment to your team, that commitment to your family, that commitment to your dreams, to your goals of what is that daily minimum standard of activity that I know I need to do to accomplish the outcome that I say I want to accomplish. And then also, I think for team leaders, what is the standard of your team? If I were to go around individually to every single agent on your team and say, what is your standard? Would they all have the same answer? Do they all have clarity on what that standard is? You see, what I've learned is that clarity is kindness. And sometimes we speak very vague to our teams. And to be unclear is to be unkind. So clearly define, what are your standards? Who are you as an organization? What do you represent? And why is it important? Over and over and over and over again. To where if I go around and ask every single person privately, they all have the same exact answer. And to be honest, if you're a leader, here's what I've learned. By the time people are tired of hearing you say it, they roll their eyes because they know exactly they can finish your sentence on what this standard is. That's when they're finally hearing it. And that is your responsibility as a leader to clearly communicate that over and over and over again. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't say it the same way over and over and over again every time. You can say the same message with a different language. But the point is everyone on the same page, rowing in the same direction for who you are as a company, who you are as an organization, and what your standards are? All right, now that we have that established, I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of you reach out to me asking for advice, asking for a question on whatever it may be that has to do with the business. And I love helping you. So please continue to reach out. I love helping. That's why I'm doing this podcast. It's in my heart. This is a passion project for me. I love it. But if you're talking about standards, and so many people say, Matt, what should I raise my standards to? What should I raise my standards to? And most of the time, that's the wrong question. Because raising your standards when you're not even enforcing the old standards is a waste of time and energy. So instead of trying to say, what should I raise my standards to? How about we start enforcing, enrolling, indoctrinating the team into the standards you already have in place? And let's get them some wins. Let's get some traction. Let's get some momentum before we just completely rip up the playbook and say, we've got to start from scratch and we have to do more and more and more and more. If you don't have a consistent body of work of doing the standard you have in place, raising the standard is not going to fix your problem. So before you think about raising your standard, make sure that you're enforcing the standard that you have in your organization. All right, so number one is standards. Number two tip that is working right now. Super complex stuff, guys, but it's consistency of those standards. You see, we live in an instant gratification world, and everybody wants that silver bullet, that shiny object, that thing that, Matt, what's the secret lead source that's going to change my business overnight? What's this secret script that's going to change everything? What's this marketing strategy? What's this objection handler? What's this new technology that's going to change everything? And the reality is consistency of the standards that you put in place is the one thing that's going to change everything. In this instant gratification world, there's so many people that are wanting that answer overnight. And if you are just steady and you are go back to when we were kids, the tortoise and the hare. If you're just that tortoise that shows up every single day and does your standard. I don't know about you guys, but I just watched the roast of Tom Brady and it was hilarious. It was great stuff. If you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. But one of the things that this reminds me of is Coach Bill Belichick had on the walls during the Patriots run. His famous saying was, "Do your job. Do your job." That was it. Did you do your job? And I think in this business, we can relate. As an agent, did you do your job? As a team leader, did you do your job? Well, what is your job? Your job isn't selling houses. Your job is the process. Do you think when Bill Belichick is saying do your job to his team, their job is to win the game? Or is their job clearly defined with a standard of execution of what they need to do and the activities they need to do that they can control so that the team can win? You see, we are in a business, we are so blessed that one transaction is a lot of money. And so if we get one win, we think we look at ourselves like we're the hero. Man, look how great I am. We start reading our own press clippings. But the reality is, if we can delay gratification, we can realize that the results that I got today are a result of the consistent body of work that I did for the previous 90 days. Then you'll realize, wow, this process does work. And not only does it work, but I can create a duplicatable, a repeatable, dare I say, a predictable and scalable real estate business, because we know what the standards are that we are doing and we're willing to do them day in and day out. And we're not going to pick our head up expecting a cookie on week one. Man, I stuck to the standards for 1 week and I didn't get the result. It doesn't work for me. You didn't give it enough time. You did not give it enough time. It takes 90 days. Let's relate this to health and fitness. Most of us have been on a health and fitness journey. You want to lose weight, you want to gain muscle, you want to get healthier. 30-minute abs don't exist. You can't just starve yourself for a week Do crunches every day. Now you got a six pack. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. This is the same thing. Remove the instant gratification need that we all have and realize that if you can delay the gratification and you can fall in love with the process and you can do your job today and then do your job again tomorrow. And you do that for 90 days before you pick your head up and look at how far you've came. Look at the results that you have. If you can do that every day, you will not be able to recognize your business 90 days from now. Now, of course, along the way, you need to stop and watch your game film. You need to practice with your scripts. You need to find the gaps and the holes in your business of what you need to do to improve so that you're not doing building the wrong habits. That goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. But the point is, are you doing your job? Consistency of those standards is what will win. You know, we had a sales meeting yesterday in our organization. I'm gonna give you a behind the scenes look. And I asked our team, we had 35 agents on the call. And I asked, raise your hand if you know who your next who are your next 5 clients that are going to transact. Raise your hand if you know them. Like 10 people raised their hands. Awesome. Keep your hand up if you know those top 5 people. What are their top 5 must-haves in their next home or in the real estate agent that they choose, whether it's a buyer or a seller? Only 3 people kept their hands up. So that means 3 out of 35 knew their next 5 people that are going to transact, and they knew the top 5 things that are most important to them. Any guesses on those 3? Were they top performers or low performers in our organization? They're consistently top performers. As a matter of fact, between the 3 of them, they had over 35 pending transactions. Pending transactions. But they do their job. They build relationships with their people. They show up every day. They're willing to practice. They don't let their ego get in the way of the process. And they have a consistency of the standards of our organization and for themselves personally. If I were to ask all 3 of them, what are the standards of our organization? They know it like that. All right, moving on. Number 3, execution. Yes, execution is a point. And guys, like I said, there's nothing magic here, but this is a great reminder. And I'm going through it right now. I am going through it. I am through a season where I'm working 12-hour days. I'm team leader. I'm COO. I'm kind of partial sales manager, running a couple meetings here and there. I'm also acting as an agent right now alongside my team to show them that I can do it with them. So I get it. But at the end of the day, if we look back, were we busy or were we productive? Do we know what our standards are? Did we do those standards consistently? And did we execute? You see, I think a lot of us have great ideas. I'm a visionary. I have tons of ideas, but execution is the key. Great ideas don't change the world. The people that execute and implement those ideas change the world. So what those great ideas that you have, that's awesome. Did you execute on things you know you need to do first? Don't go to the shiny object first. Execute. Do your job first. And then once you start executing on that, now you can add in other things on top of it, right? So I think execution is a superpower. How well can you execute? How quickly do you implement? You see, I've noticed something being very, very blessed to be around a lot of top performers in some of the circles that I run in. I mean, when I say top performers, number ones in their brains in the world, right? Like these are my friends, and these are people that I know very, very dearly, and we talk business a lot. And I've observed something about the highest performers. They all practice speed to implementation instantly. You have an idea, boom, I'm going to execute. While the average person is over here thinking through all the details, they get paralysis by analysis and they never pull the trigger. You have to implement. Execution is key. When we're talking about execution, this is another thing that is very, very important. When you're executing, yes, you need to do the minimum standard of activities. That's part of the execution. But I think too many people fall through the trap of just going through the motions. One of my friends and the coach for he coaches our team, Brian Danny, talks about squeezing the lemon. We literally have lemon stress balls for our team because we talk about this so much. What does squeezing the lemon mean? Are you just going through the motions? Are you making the most out of every opportunity? You see, I remember back when I was a new agent, I didn't have leads. When I got a lead, I wrapped my arms around that thing and I was following up like crazy. I would call them 3 times in a row. Then I call them an hour later. Then I send them a text. Then I send them an email. Then I call them after lunch. Then I go see if I can find their address and drive by their house and knock on their door. Sometimes that's actually true. But whatever it takes. You see, a lot of us have a curse of abundance in today's society. Online leads are so easy to generate. We just go through and we call our leads and we say, well, I called all these leads once and nobody answered. Are you squeezing the lemon? Number one, when they answered, did you hang up on them or did they hang up on you? You see, a lot of you hang up on more clients than clients hang up on you. Because if you end that phone call with anything other than an appointment or an appointment for a follow-up call, that was a hang up. Those of you that are ending a phone call with, hey, let me send you properties. Let me know when you're ready. If you see anything you like, send them to me. That's a hang up. They're never going to call you again. You are never going to see them again, and you're going to chase and chase and chase and chase, and then you're going to get burnt out, and then you're going to get out of the business. Squeeze the lemon. While you have them on the phone, how much time do you spend in your daily activities trying to get someone to answer the phone? A lot of it. When you got them on the phone, are you actually squeezing the lemon and making the most out of it? You see, I have a saying that I coach our team on. I don't believe what people say. I believe what they do. We've all heard actions speak louder than words. So what are their activities that they're doing that are telling us they're interested in real estate? They just calculated a mortgage. They just saved a property. They just viewed the same property 5 times in a row. They opened the last 12 emails that we sent that are on market updates and education. What are they doing versus what are they saying? So if you call them and they say, oh, I'm just looking, first and foremost, guess what? That's a great thing because I'm just looking for people who are just looking for real estate. That's who I want to talk to. That's not an objection, right? But my point being is, are we squeezing the lemon and making the most out of these opportunities? I think a lot of times we get in this funk of we're just going to call all these people once, one and done. Let me take you through a journey that I'm going through right now. So I personally committed to set 30 listing appointments in 30 days. That was this month. I'm on day 7, and I've set 9 appointments so far. I've set 3 of those appointments with leads that are over 400 days old. No activity in the last 400 days. But here's how I did it. I knew at one point that I knew they owned a home because we take care of our database. I knew they owned a home. They requested a cash offer. They requested, hey, I'm interested in selling my house, or I want a CMA on my home. But that was over a year ago. They still owned the home. That was the criteria. And I'm still going through them. But instead of me having the list of, we had like 88 people that fit that criteria that hadn't sold their home. 88, which is a lot, right? How many of you would have went in, got a speed dialer, triple dial all 88 of them to see who would answer? Slow and steady wins the race. So what I'm doing is I'm being very strategic. I'm calling everyone. If they don't answer, I have a text template that I send them. If they don't respond to the text, I set a to-do for me to call them again tomorrow and send text template number 2. And also email template that goes along with the text. And guess what happens if they don't answer or respond on text on day 2? I do it again for day 3. It's not about one and done and hoping that they answer and hoping that they know while I'm calling. I know they're a homeowner. I know at one point they wanted to sell their home. I'm calling to be a person of value to see if I can help them. And so I'm going to consistently model and demonstrate that consistency that they would want to see with a real estate agent if they were to hire me to sell the biggest asset in their life. They want someone that's consistent. They want someone that's willing to follow up. So I'm going to model and demonstrate that for them. I literally had someone call me back this weekend and they said, hey, because you followed up 3 days in a row, you sent me a text message. I think I want to sell my house with you. They called me, but it wasn't just a one and done. I had a process that I went through. I had consistency and I executed on the plan and I squeezed the lemon. I'll also tell you, of those 9 appointments, there's not a lot of them. That was probably the only home run. There's not a lot of them that were a home run, that were, oh yeah, I want to sell. When can you come out? I'm handling objection after sales skepticism, after I'm not sure anymore. I don't know about the market, but I'm able to stay in the box. I'm able to have the right conversation with the client. I'm able to build a connection and a relationship and rapport with a human so that I can help guide them and lead them through this process. You see, I think so many things that we're dealing with right now in today's landscape of our marketplace. We've got all these NAR things, got all these changes happening to buyer commission and agreements. I get it. It's not that I'm not sensitive to that, but my opinion is that if you were running your business properly, that should have been a part of your process already. My belief is if someone is going to work with you to buy the biggest investment of their life for them and their family, you need to represent them. And so that's always been a part of our process. Now, are there changes? Are there unknowns? Are there things we're going to be ahead of? Sure, absolutely. And so we're taking it very, very seriously. But if you're concerned about the NAR stuff, here's my best advice that I can give you. Go get more listings. You see, it's been so, for so long, everyone has said, like, I'm going to say these things and you guys will be able to fill in the blank. You have to list to last. Listings create leverage. It's always been a thing in our industry. But buyer leads became so easy to acquire. It became so easy to open the door and write an offer, especially during the COVID market, that's where we shifted our focus, including my team. I'm guilty of this, but these are things and honest conversations I've had with myself. And so that's where we switched gears and we're focused on sellers. Here's what I know. If we hit our listing target this year, we're going to hit our closing target, because listings create buyers, listings create leads, listings create leverage, listings create everything. And guess what? If I take the listing, I can control the commission. Make sense? It's so important, guys, that we understand that all these things are in our control. And so this is what's really working for us right now. Literally, I was looking at our listing appointments last month. We almost doubled our listing appointments from the month before, because it's been a consistent focus, and we're going to double it again. We are going to set over 200 listing appointments this month. That's our commitment. It's going to happen. All right, so I want to wrap this up. Just some advice, some things that I just wanted to brain dump with you guys. Stop overthinking it. Before you go find the next shiny object, inspect the work that you have or have not done that you know needs to be done. So if you have done it, watch your game film. If you haven't done it, have that honest conversation with yourself. Why have I not done it? So let's say that you did do it. Did you squeeze the lemon? Did you do it with your fullest potential? Did you play all out? Or did you just go through the motions? You see, your intentionality matters. What is your intention with that team, with that lead? What is your intention with that process? What is your intention with that lead generation? What is your intention with this role play session? Are you playing all out? Or are you just going through the motions? I learned this saying from one of my good friends, Kelly Salter, runs a great team in North Carolina. Stay in the box. When it gets uncomfortable, that's when it's getting good. That's when you're getting close to a sale. That's when you're getting close to an appointment. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but you got to stay in the box. Whenever they give you an objection, when they give you a sales skepticism, when they say, I'm going to wait for after the election, I'm not going to buy or sell because of interest rates. Keep going. Keep this conversation going and stay in the box. Literally, 8 of the 9 appointments that I've set in the first 7 days of this challenge, I would not have set if I did not stay in the box. And I'll just be transparent. I'm not sure if I hadn't done them, if our team would have set them. We have amazing agents. Our agents sell on average over 30 homes a year. They're phenomenal. But these conversations got uncomfortable. But that's where they got good. Are you willing to stay in the box? I think also I'm going to end with this. I hope this has been helpful for the single agent, for the aspiring team leader, to the broker owner that has 100 agents in their team. I hope this encompassed all of those. And again, this is just my thoughts on what's working. But if you're a team leader, I want to close with this. If you're a team leader listening to this and you want to know how to get these standards, this consistency, this execution indoctrinated into your culture, reach out to me. Reach out to me. I'm happy to help have this conversation. There is a process for this. We are doing it currently, and I'm doing it for a lot of people that I'm coaching right now. And if you're interested in coaching, I do currently have 2 spots available. I don't know how long they'll last, but I have 2 spots available, and I'm looking for the right fit. So if you think that's you, reach out to me. I'm happy to have that conversation. If coaching isn't for you, I'm still here to help. I want to tell you the one thing that allows you to implement these if you're a team leader. It's recruiting. You see, recruiting is the lifeblood of your business. It's the lifeblood of your standards. It's the lifeblood of your identity as a team. None of the stuff that I've went over today is possible at the highest level without a recruiting initiative. Because you have to, true leaders know that you have to grow the organization from the bottom up. You have to have them you have to have buy-in, you have to have indoctrination, you have to have people that want it for themselves, not because you're micromanaging and you're cracking the whip saying, do more, do more, do more. And what I've observed is if you get in new people with the right, and when you bring in new people, it's a new set of standards. And when they start executing those new set of standards and they start getting results on those new set of standards, guess what else happens? A rising tide rises all ships, and everyone rises to the level of the standards that are working for the newbies. It makes all the difference in the world. It's been such an impact on our business. I've been running recruiting funnels for several years now in our organization that has allowed us to continue to grow, evolve, even in our small marketplace. John Cheplack, who is my coach, my personal friend, my mentor, said, man, these funnels are amazing. We should create these and sell them to other people. Could we create this as a plug and play to help other people go through this process? So that's absolutely what we did. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can go to 3recruitingfunnelsbuilt.com, 3recruitingfunnelsbuilt.com. Find out more information on that, and we can build these proven recruiting funnels that have allowed us to implement all these things we went over today, plug and play with your brand, your image, your message into your business, so you can have a conveyor belt of recruits to help you raise the standards, have that consistency, and have that execution that is winning in today's marketplace. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate your support. This podcast is growing like crazy. I love you guys sharing this message. I hope this has been helpful, beneficial for you. If so, share it with a friend. And last but not least, I've got some very, very special guests lined up. We're going to start having some more guests on the show. So stay tuned for some special guests, different perspectives, and people that are winning at the highest levels, sharing their playbooks, sharing their superpowers so that you can win too. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you next time.